Hi guys, I'm Paul.
And I'm Jordy, and we're the Casuals. And today we're going to be talking about female representation in gaming.
Yeah, so we Jordan and I were trying to think when we first started this a few really good topics to bring up, and I think we felt pretty strongly that female representation in gaming would be a really good topic because I don't think it's a topic that's talked about a lot. So it's not going to be just me and Jordy today. We're going to have two guests. I'm going to introduce the first one, which is Jackie. She's the female streamer on the Middle Age Gaming team. Hi, Jackie. How are you?
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Jackie!
And then we
Hey.
also have Nayely. She's also a streamer on Twitch. Nayely, say hello.
Nayely!
So Jordan and I are going to take a little bit more of a backseat on this one. Obviously, let them talk about how they feel. But I guess I'll get the conversation started with them. Jordan, unless you want to add something.
No, it's all good. You can take it from here. We'll get into some questions and stuff later, but.
Sure. All right. Jackie and Nayely, overall, we'll start this here. How do you think the gaming industry is handling female representation in gaming at this point in 2020?
Well, actually, today I came across a article from Ubisoft, which said that the Assassin's Creed that took place in Greece, which the name's escaping me right now, the Spartan one,
Odyssey.
said, yes, Odyssey, there it is. They said that originally they wanted to have a female lead, but they canceled it because they said females don't sell games. So that was actually a coincidence I came across that today, having
Oh,
known I was going
wow.
to be doing this tonight.
Was You said it was
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft who said that? Or, like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
oh, wow.
That
That's
they have it
crazy.
that you can play as a male, but then afterthought you can also play as a female. But the original plan they wanted to do a female, but they said women don't sell in the gaming world.
That's it's weird that people think that because like for me when a game comes out, it's I could care less what gender the person is. Doesn't even come up in my head.
Yeah. But I think for some people it does. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for some people, that that matters, but I'm not saying that's okay. I'm saying like why should that matter, you know?
No, it shouldn't matter, and I think this is going to be a recurring point where I always joke where, hey, like you guys don't think that way, but there is a group of people where we joke, hey, like people can't really be that shallow, but I think in reality they are when it comes to this
Yeah.
thing because the game industry is like people like to believe it's very male dominated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of men get stuck in the scenario what you just said. It's like, okay, I'm not that way, therefore it's not out there. Very clearly that's not the case.
It's
What are
out there for
your
sure.
yeah, Neely, what are your opinions? How it's being handled in 2020?
I think I'm always going to advocate for the indie dev. The indie dev is handling it a lot better than it seems AAA is doing right now.
Hmm.
Because I guess because they don't have like a really strict marketing team, they don't have really strict producers, they can get away with more. So like we're just kind of trying to catch up. It's doing a little better than it used to, but
Yeah.
it's still kind of sitting there not being great.
So like so you think across the board it is getting better, but still a ways to go.
I think we're trying. Like there is effort
Yeah.
in some spots.
You know,
Like there
There is
obviously with
effort,
Ubisoft, but
but
yeah.
there is effort in cases that, I think we're going to come out of the gate like this right away because right now it's a hot button topic with The Last of Us 2. And
Yeah.
they wanted to introduce two very strong female leads. One being not the ideal image, what men probably think that they want with, skinny girl, pretty. We have Abby, who is tough. She's strong, and that was not well received. So I think sometimes it isn't even what the gaming industry wants, what the gaming industry wants to put out there, but the audience is not taking it well at all.
Yeah.
yeah, I think
And it's hard to gauge whether it's like a vocal minority or if it's really that like a lot of people.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I think obviously like, these companies are like their businesses and stuff, but I don't know how much like studying and stuff that they do. I guess you can't really control your audience, right? And it's hard to like change like us as a society to where we don't want to play that pretty girl or whatever. and then from a business aspect, it'd be, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see someone go against the grain and see how it did work out. But Jackie, you're saying that they did do that and it didn't work out for them.
No, it didn't work out. This girl was getting the actress who played this character, Abby, was getting death threats because people hated her character that much.
Oh wow.
What is wrong
Yeah.
with people?
Which is surprisingly not uncommon. I've heard of a lot of people who play villains. They're like just bad people in movies or in video games, and they get death threats just for acting that. And it's like,
Yeah, Jackie was bringing up the actress who played Cersei from Game of Thrones, like get signings with the people like spit at her and curse at her and just pass by her. It's like, what are you doing, dude? She's an actress. Relax.
What?
yeah.
Yeah, people are crazy.
That is crazy.
I guess I'll bring up an example. Jackie and I had this conversation. I think some games are making an attempt at bringing female characters on where they weren't before. Like Strictly, perfect example. Call of Duty was always male characters. I think until what, the last two, if I'm not mistaken. I think the newest one, Modern Warfare, probably does the best job that I've seen because I think there's, Jackie, correct me if I'm wrong, 6, 7 female characters now, something like that.
I'd have to count on my fingers, but that's about close. That sounds about right.
And I think some of them are really good. Like they came out with that new one, the one that you use a lot. She's not sexualized at all. She's got a mask on. She's coming in camo. She's covered in thick gear. She looks really good.
She's coming to kill you.
Yeah, she definitely looks like. But let me ask you two. I know, Nayely, I know you watch us stream it, so I guess you probably won't know as much bits and pieces. But Jackie, what are your thoughts on how Call of Duty's done?
I think it's pretty fair. I mean, I know we made jokes about Charlie the other day, how she's not like a stereotypically like pretty or something like that. But no, I do think they do a good job in that aspect. But then I feel like they also sneak some things in there with the one girl who plays oh my
Mara.
gosh, his name's Mara, yes. Yeah, I understand why they did that. I'm thankful that they put a very attractive female in there with the sports bra on. And it's just I appreciate it, but I know why you did it. It's still a male dominated game and I see plenty of guys running around in that skin. But me as a female, when I play that skin, I'm like, this is not practical. I can't put my armor plates anywhere because I'm wearing a sports bra. I don't have armor on. Me as a woman, like that's not what I want. Is it a fun costume? Yeah, it's fun. But when I drop into the war zone, I'm like, I'm gonna get shot by a bullet any second now.
Just one single bullet and that's it. Done.
Yes.
No armor.
I guess next question is there a specific game, I guess in recent memory for either of you, that you thought did a really good job with repping an interesting female character that wasn't overly sexualized, wasn't too basic? Anything either of you can think of?
This is going to be
Maybe
really
do you have one
typical
first?
coming from me.
Go ahead.
Dead by Daylight.
There you go.
Okay, so what's your example? That's fine.
All of them, like all of the ladies in Dead by Daylight are very different. They all have very different body shapes. They're all, from different walks of life. And I like the variety that they have in there. Like even with the men aren't all the same either. It's just lots of variety. There's something for everybody. I mean,
agree.
they could improve, but obviously I think they're doing the best right now.
I don't think there's even a sexualized female character in Dead by Daylight. Not that I've seen. I mean, the killers are not.
So
Not the killers, but
Yeah.
there's actually not. I got to take that back. Not the killers, but there is a problem with what is it? The spirit, because of the schoolgirl outfits they gave her. Also, that she might as well be naked.
She might as well. I was playing it last night. And I'm
she
like,
has
in real.
skins that put her in like traditional Japanese armor, and it looks so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then they also have her in the like fetishized schoolgirl kind of get up, and that when that came out, there was a lot of controversy because of that. Like she's not a school age girl; she's an older woman, so it's not really appropriate for her.
Yeah.
And then there is Jane, who is the heavier set survivor character, whose boobs jiggle in the endgame graphics. So I don't know how, like, it's just one character, so it doesn't really bother me too much. But I bet, like, I don't know how a heavier set lady would feel about that. I haven't had any, conversations with someone like that, but I'm sure it's like, it's not really necessary in a video game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Well,
you.
talk about the thing. Didn't you guys tell me once there's something about Pyramid Head and his butt? I had to change it, but then they
There's
allowed
so
the
much. I've been getting
the
so many
boobs
mixed
thing.
signals about it. Some people say that they took Pyramid Head's butt down, and then some people say it wasn't real. Like people are just over exaggerating. I don't know what's real anymore.
So, what was the original complaint? I'm sorry that his butt was too big.
The complaint was that he had a really nice looking butt, and then they changed it.
So that's not okay, but the girl with the
Yeah.
Yeah.
boob
And then like if
graphics
you look at a lot of
physics is okay.
the guys don't really have like different body shapes all that much. Like
Mhm.
one of them is really muscular, but if like you look at their legs are kind of like carbon copied.
Well, I will
Yeah.
say, Paul, I saw you playing the other night, and there was a character running around that looked just like me, just like lanky and scrawny. So I feel like I was represented well.
Dwight?
I don't know. He looked like a school teacher for real. Like he just looked like your average like guy running around. So I was
Sounds like Dwight.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
The original 5, maybe just the first 4. I'm not sure, but they were like based on some of the devs, I believe, especially
Oh, okay.
Dwight.
Interesting.
And Dwight looks like so many different people.
True.
There's a streamer that he like uses his model, and it's like he has a bald model with a beard that is exactly like him. I'm like, oh no,
Jackie,
this
are
is
there
him.
any games that come to your mind that you think did a really good job?
Well, the only thing I can think of right now, and I already talked about it, was The Last of Us with Ellie and Abby and even Dina. I just felt they were very real world
Hmm.
female characters, and they
From
weren't
what
specifically this for The
feedback?
Last of Us 2.
Yes, I saw that when I saw you stream it, I
Hmm.
I can agree from what I saw. And I
Yeah, I
especially
just
liked the way their banter was, the way
yeah
they talked about their past relationships, and it's like
yeah.
when you listen to it, they're the same relationships despite one of them having a gay relationship and one of
Hmm.
them being straight. It just
Hmm.
But
shows
it's just
that,
like
there's no real
yeah.
big differences. Sorry, keep going. Sorry.
No, 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 go ahead. No, I was gonna say that I think you and I would like understand this with character design and coming up with characters. I didn't feel like they were specifically made to please anybody. They're
Yeah.
made because this is who they are. They're real people. They're in the real world. They have real problems. And I honestly think that's why a lot of people didn't like it. They wanted what they wanted and what they thought would be stereotypically correct. And I know, like, Ellie, I feel like is excused more because she was in the first game. We already grew to love her. No one's really looking at Ellie. So everyone's really turned their attention to Abby because, again, as she said, she lifts weights. She's strong. She has arms, and I am jealous of this girl. Like, because right now, like in my life, I'm trying to get stronger. And just the backlash of this game has told me as a female, like, hey, this is not okay. You're going to be really weird if you do this. Like, people are going to think you're gross or something like that. And I just think that's not cool. And again, just how audiences have perceived this.
It's very reflective of the real world because like that's
Yes.
really interesting for you to say that like oh if you become muscular as a woman people will think you're gross.
That's what
Okay,
they.
the first 10 years of my life my dad had black teeth. I just want to throw that out there
Your
that he
dad.
had a wife. Yeah, my dad. He had a wife, he had kids. My mom thought it was gross and they were still together. But, he can have the awful, disgusting, rotting teeth and a woman can't have muscles.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's what people were saying about Serena Williams 5 years
Yeah.
ago. Somebody made a comment
Yeah.
about her that she wasn't pretty because her legs were too big. I'm like, are you kidding me? Even in the
She's like,
best shape of my life, her thighs were bigger than
Yeah.
my torso. I wish I could be that strong.
yeah, she's
But I'm
like the
comfortable.
epitome of like.
But I'm like comfortable enough with who I am as a man, as a human being, that I don't attack somebody because they're not what I like. It's none of my business.
She's
That's
like the
what she
best
wants to look. That's the way
athlete
she wants to
that's
look.
ever lived on the face of the earth. Really, you
She's the
can make an
best.
argument.
She's the best
Yeah.
tennis player that's ever lived. How do you
Yeah.
You
how do you
could
knock her
you
for
could
having big
say
legs?
here's the thing. Like I know it's kind of getting off talk about gaming, but with her, like you could say that she's the best athlete, not just like minimized to tennis or female
Mm-hmm.
tennis. You could say athlete ever. Like when you look at her
But people
championships,
won't
like
say that.
yeah,
But
I
That's
people would
true.
Yeah,
just
she's
see
a
her as
woman.
female. They won't, yeah,
Yep.
they're not going to say her, she's just a tennis player. She's going to be like female tennis player. They'll
Yeah.
never
yeah,
say just athlete,
Yeah.
period.
Female athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right,
agree.
Yep.
exactly.
If so, I actually did a little bit of research today, and I found a game that I think we all know. I don't know about Nayely, but Overwatch. So I was kind of looking. I know it's kind of like a cartoonish game, but not really. Like I think Overwatch does a great job with representation of everyone. And definitely getting back to like the female representation is, you have like Zarya, right? A tank, a strong, powerful like frontline character, and then you have like Widowmaker, like a backline sniper. You have so many different tracers, like kind of like a shorter statured female character. I think they've done a great job with representing like Brigitte, like, and all of them have like armor and like look like strong and powerful, and I don't think any of them are really sexualized. From what I don't know if you guys can talk on that, but like I thought it was a great representation.
No,
That's
I think
usually
Overwatch is a good thing. I'd be nitpicking to say that Widowmaker really doesn't have to walk that way, but that's just nitpicking.
true.
Yeah,
I think
it's
Overwatch
like
does a good job. I mean, I think
yeah, I
most of their
agree.
add-ons have been females. Ashe, Anna.
And like that's the thing. It's not even really that there are sexy female characters, like because that's fine. It's
Mhm.
just why isn't there anything else? Why
Yeah,
does it always have to be sexual?
very
Right.
true.
Like the Widowmaker is like the sexy sniper girl. That's fine. Because there are
Right.
other people, there are other girls that represent other walks of
Yeah, because
life.
like I was looking at like so like even Farah, right? She's very pretty, but she has like all this armor on. She just looks like so strong. It's not just that she's pretty, like she has that. And then like I said, Zarya, like she's the frontline character, like so powerful and just like in the front. And then like Tracer's kind of like a smaller stature. I think like they did a really good job with like representing a lot of different like areas of female representation.
Yeah, then you have May, who's also
Yeah.
kind of not in great shape. She's
Yep.
kind of just at like normal.
Actually,
I've seen
no,
them be
actually, May,
inconsistent
they
about
had to
that.
slim her down.
Did they
Yeah,
They had to
really?
slim May
yeah.
down at one point. Yep, she was
It
too
was a
wide,
while
or
ago.
Oh
and
wow.
then they fixed her model and made her skinnier because people were bothered by it.
I had no idea that was a thing, and I played that
Yep.
game nonstop for a long
Mm,
Yep.
time.
it was.
Yeah, I
I
didn't know
I
never
that
think it was.
played
either.
it, and I knew about that.
I think it
Uh,
was back during the New Year when like her red like suit skin came out. It was like a Chinese New Year one, and people I guess were bothered that she looked not skinny, so they edited her model to make her waist thinner.
Very
I,
interesting.
I did not know that.
Because even if you're a bigger set lady, you gotta have the right shape.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say they made. I mean, like you were saying, Zarya. I mean, she's a freaking power lifter, so there's.
Yeah, and I've heard people complain about her too.
Interesting. But I just think that they've done, in my opinion, like I'm kind of like closed minded when it comes to like my gaming atmosphere, where I only play like a couple battle royales, and then my nerd points come from like Overwatch. But then I was thinking like, wow, Overwatch is such like a really like, great representation of females in gaming, in my opinion. So I was just kind of wanting to get your guys' take on that. And one
Yeah.
more quick fact that surprised me today, and this comes from Statista.com. So I was curious. Actually, let me ask the question: How many? So how many gamers do you think, percentage wise, between male and female? Like, what's the percentage of female gamers do you think? Paul, I'll start with you. I have the number. Just take a guess because it surprised me.
I'm gonna say 35% female.
Don't be looking. Don't be googling this either.
I'm not.
All right, Nayely, what do you think?
I've actually heard of the statistic. I haven't looked at it for many years now, but last I saw it was like 49%.
Okay, Jackie.
I was gonna say 40%ish somewhere in there, more
Yeah.
towards
So
50.
I know it was close to 50%.
yeah. So
what it
last
was.
year, so I think. Don't quote me on this, but 2019, I think it was somewhere near like 46 ish. But
wow.
this year it was like 41. But even for me, it was kind of like a wake up call. It's like, wow, there's 41% of female gamers, which I had no idea. I did not know that, and that's why I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's very interesting. Um, so I mean, it just kind of opened my eyes, and even like last year I think it was it's almost a 50-50, and I guess now that I think about it, there are a lot of female gamers out there that I've actually played games with. You know what I mean? So I was like, I guess it shouldn't have been such a surprise to me, but yeah, it was very interesting, and I just kind of want to bring up that fact because I think it's relevant to the conversation that even just last year we were at 46-47%. We're almost at 50-50. Gaming. So why is all this negativity happening in the gaming industry with female representation? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I
Even
mean,
if it's gonna be 50-50, I still think it's gonna be male dominated, at least for now.
Yeah.
for what they want's going to be constantly steered in that direction.
Well, I think like Nayely kind of said that is like it's just like that's just the society. You know what I mean? It's sad to say that, but like that's just how it is, and like that's why we're having this conversation. Is hopefully we can maybe change some people's minds and bring light to the fact that I would say most of the time female representation in gaming is lackluster.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think back to how it was like when I was old enough. I want to say like I mean I started playing games when I was like 5, but like when I was actually understood what I was doing, I remember playing Soul Calibur with my dad. Every single female character in that game, I swear to God, had triple D breasts,
Mm-hmm.
barely wore clothes. All of them.
All day booties out. I remember that.
All the butts,
Yep.
all the boobs. I'm
Mhm.
just
My sister plays Soul Calibur, so I know.
and like I didn't think anything of it. I was 13. I'm just like, oh yeah, whatever. This is just the normal. But that's it. That was the normal.
Yeah.
But like I look back at it, I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Like one character name's Ivy. Like her
Ivy.
It's a
It's funny.
song.
It's funny you
covered by
single her out.
It's a
dental
song,
floss.
dude.
It's dental
Yeah.
floss. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking
Probably
in my head, I'm like,
stings.
yeah, I'm just like, why would you design? I mean, one costume, I guess you could say, but it's like, why would you make her mainstay costume on the character select screen that egregious?
I mean, look at Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat does it too.
Mortal Kombat is actually trying to do a shift, but there's like a very big part of that fan base that is very, very complaining about it. And I get to see a lot of the really bad side of that fandom because I have 2 friends on Twitter who are always in the rough of it.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Mortal Kombat, and I've seen some of the newer costumes. They seem a lot less revealing than usual, but
Yeah.
I don't know about.
And they're
all-
trying to
better.
vary out the body types and everything. And I don't know if it's satire or if it's actually real. Like my brain doesn't want to believe that some of these things are real, but I've just seen so many people complaining about the breast size of
But
the
then
people
they
in Mortal
are.
Kombat. I'm like, but why?
Wait, when you say they're complaining about the breast size, what do you mean?
Because they're like, who was it? Katana, I think. Katana didn't have triple D boobies or something. I don't know.
They were complaining they weren't big enough.
Yeah.
Ah,
And
I
they're
see.
different and they're changing.
Very interesting. No,
Well,
I mean,
So,
Which is
Go
very
ahead,
funny
Jackie.
coming from the Mortal Kombat community when their fucking storyline has been rebooted 6 billion times.
yeah, really, it's been retconned 80 times.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a good thing to say. A
Go
good
ahead.
point how he said like is the gaming industry trying to change it? And I think they are because
Mm-hmm.
when I played the Resident Evil remakes of 2 and 3, if you
Mm-hmm.
look back on the costumes of the original characters of Claire and Jill,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Claire and Jill, they're short skirts,
Yeah.
boots, craziness, nothing that if I was fighting a zombie horde would not be caught dead wearing, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And in the remakes, they actually made it jeans, combat boots, a full jacket, and that I appreciate. They also did the same thing with Evolving Tomb Raider, where Lara Croft and the old ones, like super short shorts, breasts out, cleavage, ridiculous. And now in the newest one, in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it's actually, hey, tactical pants, boots, a shirt that covers your chest. I like this. So
Sometimes she's
that's a
wearing a
step in the
jacket.
right direction. Sometimes she's like, hey, it's cold out. She's wearing a jacket. She's got a scarf on. And
Yep.
again, me as a female, when I was up in the mountains and it was snowing when I was playing that game, I'm like, I need a jacket. This doesn't feel right for running around in a tank top.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's very true.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I've
step in the
definitely
right
like
direction.
learned a lot. Like, and like I said, like this is like obviously like this podcast for me and Paul was just to get you guys' opinions and just to listen and try to understand because like I said, for me personally, like I play a lot of battle royales and stuff like that. Not like a whole lot of player driven games, and that's why I kind of wanted to bring up Overwatch. I thought that was a great representation, but that's the only thing that I really could really relate to. So that's why we brought Jackie and Nayely in here. So um, is there any like closing thoughts, Paul? Did you have any like more questions, or anybody have any like burning thing that they definitely wanted to say? Because I'd love to hear it.
I guess
I
one thing
can
I want to
I
say
can
is
say
like
something, but
yeah, one thing I'll say and then I'll let Haley say something is I'm trying to think like far back, like a really good female character that I liked when I was younger that stuck with me. I think Blizzard did a really good job making a strong female character a mainstay in a series with StarCraft with Kerrigan, because she's the first time I ever saw a female character stay in the main storyline, and she was a main character. And I don't think she was sexualized. I really don't think so. She was kind of disgusting and alieny or whatever. So I thought they did a good job with her, and it stuck with me. Like when StarCraft 2 came out in 2000, was it 13 or whatever, and she was like the mainstay villain and all that. I thought that was really cool. I'm glad they did that. She was a good character, at least that I remember as a kid.
Nayely,
Yeah,
did
Nayely.
you have something? Okay.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
me?
Yep.
Okay,
You.
my turn. I was gonna point out that, at least in my experience, a lot of the Japanese horror scene seems to do a lot of female characters as protagonists. And I've noticed that like a lot of the stories even revolve around women and things of that nature. I can definitely say there's still a long way to go because what comes up to mind because I was streaming it earlier was Fatal Frame, but they still sexualize them in like the alternate costumes, which is just not great. But I think their main storyline clothes are pretty good, and they do a really good job at like showing I guess, the fragility of femininity, while also they're being really strong and fighting spirits. It's like about mental fortitude and stuff like that.
Was that the game that you were playing when I was in your stream the other day?
It's the camera one
Yes.
where you take a picture of ghosts. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. I remember.
yeah. All the main protagonists of that series has been female, and I'm a big fan of Chilla's art stuff too, and I know there's a lot of female driven there because it is I think Japanese horror. Pretty sure there's one that's really Fatal Frame homage. So, and then what else? Trying to remember other games. Oh, oh yeah, Dread Out, which was a Thai game. I think something like that. There's basically a lot of horror
Yeah.
and especially Japanese horror does a lot of female protagonists, and I've been very drawn to them over time.
Yeah, I respect that. I guess the last thing I wanted to ask both of you is what can us as the gaming community, and especially us men, what can we do to help you guys with this? Is there anything that we can do?
I think we've kind of indirectly pointed one out, like in the beginning when we were talking about the Ubisoft problem, is like at this point it's like a lot of people don't want to listen to us, and we just want our voices to be heard. So like I've seen the tweets about those two women in the Ubisoft team who were really trying to push for the female protagonists and how one of them apparently lost a job over it or something like that. And if you're on a team and that's happening, like as a guy, you should stand up and like be there in solidarity with that. Because like I can't imagine what it must have been like to be those two ladies on the team. Like you have a big team of people in a AAA company and nobody stood with you.
Yeah, they're just
I
kind of
don't know.
isolated in solidarity with their idea.
Yeah.
So
Like I don't hear anything about like other people and what their reaction was, just what the higher up said, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So
an
like
excellent
the more
point.
people who stand in solidarity, including men who come and say like we would play a game about women and we would play a video game even if the lady wasn't the love interest and completely sexy, that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you told me the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla was only female, I'm still gonna play it.
Oh,
Don't care.
100%.
I'll play Shield Maiden. It's fine.
Dang, Shield Maiden would be so freaking cool.
That's fine. Cool with it.
Jack,
Yeah,
any burning questions, points, comments?
I guess the last thing I want to bring up is I know we're talking about female characters in games. What about how Nayely and I are represented while we play the games? Because just thinking me as a female within the community, let's say, because I never ever joined game chat because of these reasons, because there's been
Same.
plenty of times where I'm playing Overwatch or Call of Duty and some
Yeah.
guy comes in who I don't know, and I feel like I say something and they don't listen, and a lot of the times they say the thing I just said, and then people listen to
Mm-hmm.
him. Or I
Yep.
say, hey, I think we should go this way because we would have lived if we went that way, but somebody else said, hey, let's stay here and do this, and we lose. And that's
Yeah.
very, very discouraging
That's a
because I feel
very
like, well, I guess I'm a girl and I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm a gamer girl and you're a guy. Like it's very frustrating.
That's a very good
Yeah.
point, and that could honestly probably be like, well, now that you say that, that could be a whole other conversation. Like, I think that point is great too, and like us also putting in like females in streaming. Like, number one, like, you're playing a game and they hear that that you're a female, and then they're not listening to you because maybe that they think, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. But then also another thing is like I can only imagine females in streaming because I've seen it personally. So we can get in that probably get into that an entire podcast in itself. But we'll keep this one just female representation in gaming. But excellent point, Jackie. I never even
Thank
Yeah.
really
you.
thought of that.
So the only thing I would want is just treat us equal. Just we're one of you.
Equality, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And like I said, like this is exactly why we wanted to do this podcast and why we wanted to have both of you on because it's just me and Paul that we're doing this podcast and talking about female representation. If it's just us two, then it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So we do appreciate you all joining, and we're gonna put your some social media and streaming links in the comments or in the notification section below. So make sure you guys follow them. I know both of them are on Twitch, and then Jackie is part of Middle Age Gaming as well. So that's the three of them. So we'll put the links down there, and we really appreciate you joining us. Paul, any last words? Jackie, Nayely?
I think I'm good.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you.